for it.
Okay. I've clicked the button. It's going live.
It's good.
I forgot to turn latency down.
-2.
God damn it. I hate that.
Oh, well. It
doesn't really
fine.
matter for a podcast.
Not really.
All right, I think we're live. Okay.
We are.
Click the button. It's going. Are you live on your end too, Corey?
It's good.
I
I
am.
am.
Turn latency down.
-2.
Okay, let me just.
Oh, well. It
Doesn't really
fine.
matter for a podcast. Hold on, I'm echoing somewhere. All right, I think we're live.
It's funny because that's your name.
I hate that.
We are.
Okay, there we go. I think I got it. Are you live on your end too? No, I'm still echoing from somewhere. Let me just.
Oh, well. It
Doesn't really matter. Just 1 second, guys. I'm echoing somewhere.
There's got to be on your end because I'm not hearing it.
Hate that.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, chat. Just 1 second. This is like my first live stream on YouTube in like 6 years, and I'm doing the classic echo. Oh, I found it. Okay, we found it. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to, like I said, first live stream in a long time. For those of you who don't know, I do run a podcast, Tapcaf Transmission, with my good friend Corey here. I sort of have gotten away from live streaming it for some reason. So we're going to try to move back to that a little bit. I've made a playlist as well. You can find it. You can also find all the links to the audio versions and stuff down below. So this podcast will be a little bit different, or sorry, this stream will be a little bit different than some of the other ones I've done in the past. Can you guys hear me? Someone's saying we can't hear you. It'll be a little bit different than some of the ones you've seen in the past because I won't be answering questions. Although if you do have some, you can email tapcaftransmissions@gmail.com. And we will usually take some time to answer questions at the end of the episode. Anything that I missed there, Corey?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you want to just do the podcast intro then?
I will. Usually we get the drinks in before the podcast, but we started early and whole new style for us here.
Yeah.
But hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Tapcaf Transmissions. I am one of your hosts, Corey, joined as always by the other host, Justin. How are you doing tonight, Justin? Eckhart's Ladder.
Very well. Nice to be back. Lots of traveling for the past few weeks, so glad to be home. Yeah. What about you, Corey? How are you doing? Don't move on.
Well, I was going to say we got to travel to the same place, but that's fine. We're not going to talk. I was talking to my girlfriend like an hour ago saying that when I go to Halifax the next time, when I go to Halifax the next time, you're actually probably going to be the person I've seen second most in person this year, because I just never leave my basement.
That's actually kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like more than a little bit. We should take a few minutes to talk about the trip. For this episode, though, I guess we're going to do most recent 2 Mando episodes, and I guess Bad Batch finale as well. We're kind of late on that one.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah.
We were hoping to do a prior podcast just to talk about the Bad Batch, but that didn't happen. It might be a little too late now. I don't know if it's something we can do in the future.
I liked it. I thought it was good. Yeah. We'll talk about it at the end maybe. But yeah, let's talk about the trip. So we got to go to LA to play Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It was very obvious because like immediately a bunch of YouTubers started sending pictures out and stuff that like we were all but we couldn't say anything, which was unfortunate because I would have liked to have organized a meetup or something. We usually do that when we're in LA, but we couldn't this time. But that was your first kind of EA event. How was your first experience as like a game reviewer?
Yeah, that was my first any event that I've been to, so it was a lot of fun. It was great to meet everyone. Like you said, there's a bunch of us there. I guess we probably could have talked about like that we were going to LA and Disney beforehand because like they said that wasn't a problem. We just didn't. So maybe next time, but it's too scary because if you don't follow all of the NDA, then they do actually threaten to kill you. Yeah.
No, they don't just threaten. They will kill you.
Yeah, they randomly pick someone out each time to execute just to show you they're serious. So
you ever notice how the 2 Star Wars HQ guys started sounding a little bit more similar? I think it's Ryan who's gone. But yeah, fun trip. What did you think of the game? I know you did put a video out, but just briefly.
I thought it was basically everything I liked about Fallen Order, with less of the stuff that I didn't like about Fallen Order. So I'm actually more excited coming out of it than I was going in. So I'm really looking forward to the 28th.
Yeah, I think that's when it is. Yeah, I'm actually glad it got pushed back a bit. Now we got something to look forward to after Mando. And tomorrow, obviously, Star Wars Celebration starts. I think the first big panel's tomorrow too, right? Isn't the movie panel tomorrow?
I think so. Like the live action filmmakers panel.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be. I am
Doesn't
so
matter. We
excited
can't watch
for that.
it, so
Yeah, we can't. But I just want to hear what happened at it, or like if there's anyone there. Is it just gonna be like everyone sitting there looking at a stage full of empty chairs, or maybe some people shuffle on and off as they go through it? I've never been so excited for a panel in my life.
Do you have any expectations?
Absolutely none. Like anything that's more than empty chair is already way above what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Just for the whole week, like what do you think? What do you expect we're getting?
No, that's basically it. I hope I don't know. Like the thing that I'm most in anticipation of getting, I guess, would be any more game news, because we don't really know much of what's coming beyond Jedi Survivor, aside, like as far as specifics go. We know there are a bunch of games that are allegedly out there somewhere, but we've just had the trailer for Eclipse and we know Jedi Survivor's coming, then some like genres for some of the other ones. But that in movies we're kind of in the dark on. With books we know generally what's coming up. With shows we kind of know what's coming up for the next 2 years, and it doesn't seem like they're about to start announcing a bunch more. So it's really, do any movies exist, and can we start hearing more about some of the games? How about you?
Yeah, I think we'll get a widely released Ahsoka trailer. I don't think that's super I don't think that'd be super. You don't think so?
A widely released one? Like,
yeah,
it sounds like we're getting less than we got last Star Wars Celebration. So as far as like actual stuff being released, aside from just like hearing about it in news reports, I don't have the highest expectations.
Yeah,
because we didn't get the Mando trailer released last time.
Yeah, but that was to be fair, Ahsoka's coming out this year.
That's true.
It's supposed to come out mid 2023, and like we're approaching mid 2023 with reckless abandon. So I do think we will get a trailer. I think we're going to get Bad Batch season 3 announcement as well. I mean, I think everyone knows there's going to be a season 3 just because you can't leave it where they did. But yeah, those are kind of my big two expectations. If I were to make like a less likely prediction, put some money on something and win big, I think we'll get something about Boba Fett and Skeleton Crew. But yeah,
I think Skeleton Crew feels about on the same level as Ahsoka for me on coming this year. So maybe we'll get something. I don't know. I don't have high expectations for anything beyond private screenings. So, which is kind of annoying, but is what it is.
Right, because there was that big controversy, and there was the question of, okay, are they or aren't they going to stream the event? It turns out, yes, they're streaming it, sort of. They're not streaming anything anybody actually wants to see.
Well, it's none of the panels, but some of like the main stage show things.
But like,
so
that's
that's where we got like the Lego announcements and the Jedi Survivor announcement last time. So maybe something, but there was the Mando trailer that never saw the light of day. It was much earlier in development, so
it just doesn't make sense. Like, people have rightly pointed out, you have Disney Plus. Like, you have the perfect. You could probably drive some Disney Plus subscriptions with this event, even if it's only a few.
Absolutely.
But I mean, like, not enough of these live streaming events are pretty cool. They've done it for concerts in the past. And it's like, there's the idea that, it's going to interfere with ticket sales. You can't buy tickets to Star Wars Celebration right now, aside from a few single passes. So it's like, is there really that much of a concern? If, like, people don't go to Star Wars Celebration to see panels, I believe it. And you don't, like, it's a lottery system even for the panels. Corey and I hung out with Elliot a lot, Battlefront updates, excellent dude. He didn't get onto a single panel. So it's like, it's a joke.
Yeah, I think like Alex and Molly only got into one originally.
They got into a kind of bad one, if I remember correctly, too.
Yeah, so it's not like the event isn't going to basically sell out.
Yep. No, I agree. Okay, so
at the very least, let's have like a Roblox Fortnite concert situation.
Roblox Fortnite. Somehow Palpatine has returned. We'll get that. Instead of at the Fortnite event, it'll be during the Star Wars Celebration screening. Yeah, okay, let's talk about Mando. We didn't do episode 5 on the podcast. I don't remember what happened during episode 5. I guess that was... No, I don't...
Navarro.
Right, yeah.
The Battle of Navarro.
That felt to me, in hindsight, like one of the better episodes of the season. Yeah. It was... So, I don't know. This episode is like... Episode 6, that is, not episode 5. Yeah. For me, kind of representative of a lot of the issues Mando's been having all season, where like it's in this weird in-between place where like it's not quite what season 1 was, and it's also not quite what season 2 was. Like season 1 was in a way very episodic. Like people might not remember because I'm just trying to look up the Mando season 1 because of how like positively it's received right now. In the past, when it was airing, there were a lot of people who were mad on a week-to-week basis because they didn't think anything was happening. Chapter 6 of Mando Season 1 was The Prisoner. That was the one where they go on the ship to rescue Bill Burr. Chapter 5 was, in my opinion, the worst episode in Mando history. That was the Gunslinger, where Fennec Shand is introduced. That obviously set up some good things like Fennec and Boba, but the episode itself was pretty bad. So it's kind of like that, but in my opinion, it's missing a little bit of the charm of season 1. And because like I'm a big fan of the Western style shows. I've said that a million times. I loved Mando season 1 because it was just like this adventure. But now that season 3 is doing that, we're also trying to be a part of this bigger world. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's really working out super well.
Yeah, like, I don't feel like there was a problem with how much was done to progress the story in this episode. There was a lot of pretty important stuff that happened, especially at the end. Mm-hmm. I don't love how any of that is necessarily being done, though. Like, it's just... Especially since so much is based on the end of episode 2, mm-hmm. where it feels like all conflict is just going to be resolved by the fact that we've seen a mythosaur, mm-hmm. and... Din was defeated by a helmet in the sand, which became the true wielder of the Darksaber. And if every bit of interpersonal conflict that you could get between the characters that are like our main characters mm-hmm. just kind of gets brushed aside whenever it could come up. Like, I'm not looking for interpersonal conflict as in I want like Din and Bo-Katan or Din and Paz to necessarily like fight each other. Just like they clearly have different views on some things. Yeah. And all of that just keeps turning into, but that doesn't matter anymore. Not because anything's actually addressed with it, just because we've decided that the plot is now beyond wherever that's going. And
yeah, so I actually recently was recommended on YouTube this like film writing class by Trey Stone and Matt Parker, the guys who wrote South Park. And they said something that kind of stuck with me. And like I've seen this and if it was, sorry, did I say their name wrong?
I think you transposed.
I transposed them. Okay, whatever. They did like, you know, in Digimon where they like fuse with their Digimon. I just did that with them. But anyway, they said that a really good story, and I'm sure that they took this from someone even smarter than them. A really good story is one where you say, "This happened, so this happened," instead of right. "This happened and this happened." Like a real sense of continuity, a real sense of causation. Whereas a lot of Mando Season 3, kind of like I think you alluded to, has been like, okay, there's this, you know, issue, and we've solved it by doing this. You know what I mean? Like the Darksaber, kind of like that. I personally had a little less issue with that than I did kind of how the greater Mandalorian conflict as a whole has been handled, like with the cult. It's not really happening how I wanted to see it. And I do want to say, because I'm seeing the comments in the chat, I'm still enjoying the show, and I still have a lot of hope for kind of the future seasons. I felt like this was always going to be a kind of weird in-between season. I said that after episode 1. And I feel like that's turned out to be true, and the show's been harmed a bit by the Book of Boba Fett, where like I think we get a much better season if Grogu, who's done nothing this season, is off with Luke, and that's sort of a parallel plot thread. And then, you know, the season is allowed to just kind of more openly focus on this Mandalorian. thing rather than the ensemble cast they've had.
Yeah, like I don't think Grogu has really done much other than go get Bo-Katan to rescue Din, and he could probably handle that just like slightly differently by having him
the droid maybe do it.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it does feel like they were too insistent on like, no, this is the core relationship. We have to get it back as soon as possible, because it really does build into. And I'm also enjoying the show as well. These are the issues that I do have with it. It's so hard to decide what you're supposed to care about in the future, like what still counts towards these developments and what doesn't, because like there's so much in season 2 that was just kind of undone by a lot of it. Like my buddy started watching it, skipped I think the last 2 episodes of season 2, and doesn't really feel like he missed that much because he also didn't watch Book of Boba Fett. So it was like, yeah, he just kind of ended up back where he thought they were. And like it's the kind of thing where you can point to Bo-Katan and Din saving Ragnar as a thing that really ingratiated them to Paz, but Din also did that like literally in the first 20 minutes of the season before he redeemed himself and was still told to take a hike.
Yeah.
So it's like one took up more of the episode than the other, but like functionally, as far as how these should impact the characters, you'd think those would be similar events. So if one matters, why doesn't the other? And there's just a lot that kind of feels like that.
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating because I'm somebody who liked the first few episodes of the Book of Boba Fett quite a lot. And I thought that show was obviously derailed from like a structural standpoint. Only having 7 episodes, I believe it was 7, right? Like I think it was 6 or 7.
I think it was 7.
Yeah, so it had 7 episodes. 2 of them are off on a complete side quest, and then you end up with a finale that doesn't really have the proper stakes and ends up being a bit silly and not well constructed.
Because like 5 and 6 are Din, and then you're jumping right into the finale with Boba, who you haven't really seen in 2 episodes.
Right. So, and like I've kind of theorized in the past that is probably because they knew season 3 of Mando was going to take longer than they wanted, and they wanted to keep the character in people's consciousness and probably keep people subscribed to Disney Plus, to be honest, as well. But that's just a theory, a game theory. But yeah, it's unfortunate that like those 2 episodes really, it feels like, have derailed two seasons of TV in a way. Not to be dramatic, because again, like I still liked, and that's the thing about episode 6 that we're sort of talking about now. I actually liked this episode overall. I just kind of get frustrated and everything around it. Like it was like a Clone Wars episode in a lot of ways. So yeah.
And like, how can we on this podcast complain about something which opened up with vindicating so many of our long-term Mon Calamari fetish fans?
Yeah, that's true. What did you think of that ship at the beginning?
I actually really like that. That's one of my favorite scenes of the episode. One of the things that I did really like about Book of Boba Fett that I felt is often lacking in Star Wars is that you don't really see that many aliens anywhere. And I'm fine with them even just being in the background and you see one walk past. But
wow,
we've gotten
you're fine with them being relegated to the background.
No. Oh no, what am I doing? But they've been pretty prominent in this season as like actual characters, especially what we saw here, and with it being a probable callback to season 1. I don't know how many Mon Calamari nobles kids could possibly have bounties open on him, so I have to assume that that's still the one that Din took the bounty on when he was returning Grogu.
Yeah, that guy's voice was so bad though. It was I think it was, someone said it was Tom Holland's brother, and I don't know, I could tell he was like not recording it in the same studio as everyone else. I heard about like Adam Driver doing that for episode 9, him doing like pickup voice recordings like in his closet. It sounded kind of like Tom Holland's character did that, because I noticed whenever he started talking, the like background audio on the bridge really turned up. It's like I used to record the early Eckhart's Ladder videos in my closet upstairs with my phone. Like I'd sit there like that. But yeah.
Yeah, so you'd be a hypocrite to really criticize that then, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I liked the beginning. It was a strong beginning. I will say I had a funny experience with this episode. It came out obviously the same day on Wednesday, and I took my son to go see the Mario movie. So I knew I was going to be. We kind of made a thing of it. We like surprised him and pulled him out of school. Kids are so dumb. It was 10 o'clock. He thought it was 9 o'clock when he usually goes to school. Didn't even realize. I pull up to school. I'm like, all right, buddy, time to go. Unless you want to go see the Mario movie. So we did that.
What do you do in that situation if he says, "Nah, I'll pass. I want to go to school"?
Have fun.
He's already an hour late. It's
yeah. But obviously he wanted to see it. So we made a whole day of it. So I was out all day. So I went to bed pretty early for my standards, like 1 or 2 o'clock, and I woke up at 4. I was like, okay, I'm gonna check this Mando episode out. Looking for anything blue. Looking for a tall blue guy. Looking for anything Imperial to like kind of decide, because I'm somebody who doesn't give a shit about spoilers. I'm like trying to decide, do I stay up and cover this episode? So I'm scrolling through. I'm like, is that fucking Jack Black? I'm scrolling through. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing here. So I quickly went on like r/Star Wars leaks, because if there's anything big in the episode, they'll post it. I went the fuck back to sleep, and then I watched it later. But yeah, I don't know where that story went, but that was my experience with the episode, I guess.
It did go somewhere big at the end with the fight, but
I did watch that part too before bed.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. But yeah, like I feel like I like Jack Black and I like Lizzo, but it's hard to watch Jack Black's scenes without it being like, it's Jack Black. I don't know. Yeah,
I posted this on Twitter. I know who Lizzo is, obviously, but I didn't know that was Lizzo. I recognized Doc right away, and he was kind of funny. You mentioned this to me. He was rumored to be in his kind of inclusion in the show got leaked before the season even started. People were like, "Oh, he must be the Mandalorian, like the Mandalorian elder." It's like, nah, he's just some dude.
They really should have suspected him when they learned his name was Hellgate.
Yeah.
I'd never believe this of you, Dr. Evil Guy.
I forget who posted it on Twitter. I think it might have been it might have been Jason Fry, where it was like, what if at the very end he revealed that Jack Black's real name was Warlord Zinj. Or just Zinj. That would have been. I would have screamed. I would have woke my whole fucking family up. I don't care.
Yeah.
If
just
Warlord,
to zoom in on his face right at the end and like his mustache twirls.
Yeah. It just twirls up on its own. He's like, stay down.
That would kind of be perfect for Zinj.
Yeah, pretending not to be. If they ever introduce Warlord Zinj in live action, I don't care if like I've got a newborn child in my house. I'm fucking screaming. Yeah. Especially if it's Jack Black.
Yeah. Who else could it be? Like, really? I don't think there's anyone.
On literally any fat guy will do.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah, literally any fat guy.
It has to be the right kind of silly, though.
Yeah.
I'm glad they went with the proper pronunciation of Bombardier.
Oh yeah, that was really nice. All the French Canadians were just fist pumping,
pulling out their sidewalk plows.
They should have had James Gandolfini do it, but he's obviously gone. But he would have been a good Zinj.
Yeah, give him the Tarkin treatment from Rogue One.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have the same rights to his estate for the rest of eternity.
What are you gonna do? Sue Disney? Good luck, boys.
True. I'm pretty sure that rumors are out that they've bought the Department of Justice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
I think I saw that happening at Disney World when I was there. I saw Mickey usher Joe into a back room. Get in here, Joe. But yeah, anything else on the cameos you wanted to mention?
Not really. I think Christopher Lloyd's worked the best.
Mm-hmm. He's old and he still has it. He's like 84, 85.
Yeah.
Jack Black is just Jack Black.
Fine. It's just I don't know. And I feel like Lizzo is probably suffering here for me just because she was next to Jack Black, who is impossible for me to like watch him and not expect him to just start singing a Tenacious D song but
it was a lot for one episode as well. Like maybe spread out the like really like Jack Black is like there's like some people you can hide behind like, oh, is that him? Is that not him? Like I'm not sure. It's fucking Jack Black. Like
yeah.
Like I noticed him scrolling by at 20 times speed.
Yeah.
And then saw him
as soon
play...
as the door opened, like Jack Black.
Yeah. And then saw him play Bowser in Mario, which is really weird.
Yeah. Like it's just so hard to imagine him on like an Arquitens bridge ordering around people, or if he was a Moff or something. I forget what his rank was. But it was kind of weird that Christopher Lloyd's character was talking about how important democracy is to him. When it's like, you were perfectly happy at this place when it was just a monarchy. What are you talking about?
I don't really get what he was trying to do, because like they said they had a direct democracy. Like
now they do.
But so why was he going all crazy with the droids?
Yeah, because he loves democracy, but the first democratically elected leader they have, he was like, no, this is too sus. I'm getting rid of him, and I want to go back and serve the monarch. Unless he's just thinking like democracy only works at a galactic scale. We can't have it on the planetary level. Let's go back to the separatist Senate.
He likes only representative democracies.
Yeah.
I think what really happened is they were like, I need somebody who likes droids. CIS guy.
For me, the thing that I always think about with how like connected or not Star Wars is I'll just picture a character from an era saying Count Dooku's name. So having that actually happen was like, I like that in a way that I think is no one else is really going to appreciate the same way as me. Not to put myself above everyone else, because I am, but that one was just for me, really. I'm the only, not even that I'm a Count Dooku fan, just that he has a very specific place in my heart.
That kind of reminds me of in episode 8 when Luke said Darth Sidious. That to me kind of hit in the same way, where I was like, that's really weird, because growing up it's always like original trilogy Star Wars, prequel trilogy Star Wars, and obviously the Emperor and Darth Sidious are the same people, but like, you know, they're also very different, and like they never said Darth Sidious in the original trilogy, so that moment was kind of like a crossing of the streams there.
Yeah, so where did Luke even learn that from? Did like Yoda drop it on Dagobah at some point off screen? I don't think anyone who knew about it, that would be like basically just Yoda and
HBO put out a documentary.
Maybe Obi-Wan? Like, did Obi-Wan even know that?
I mean, like in the Bad Batch, they've talked about how people... There's something I want to say that I can't. I'll tell you off stream, but like, there have been references to people who know that Palpatine is a Sith Lord.
But anyone that Luke's friends with or would have talked to.
But no, but there's people who like it's gone. There's people who wouldn't know if Luke can't know, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Like there's people who in less influential positions than Luke who know.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. But maybe Yoda mentioned it when he was dying too. I don't know. He's like, by the way,
like Din needs therapy though. Like if you're going down to the docks watching all the droids load shit up and you find a convenient excuse to just start kicking them, I think that's probably something you need to work out for yourself. Especially after like when you're pretty soon just talking to a bartender that wants to protect their droid rights.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I have like.
It reminded me of iRobot. Didn't something like that happen in iRobot?
Yeah, I think
where they like he just starts like abusing them to try to find which one is the real one, or I mean they're all real. Which one's like sentient or whatever? Maybe Ahsoka told them.
Also all the videos of that dog robot. I forget what it's called. The one that Poochie? Like they had them in Andor as well, but where they had a guest spot on Andor.
Oh, was that in this episode? Oh, you mean?
But
all the
videos they do to show like how great their balance is, where they're just like abusing this dog robot.
Yeah, that's sick. I would love to do that.
I don't understand Din's what he was trying to accomplish there. Like, if I kicked
No,
him...
I get it. Because, like, a properly programmed one is going to let you kill it. It'll let you abuse it and, you know. But, like, one who's broke its from its
all the ones that
programming.
are trying to hide it, like, if they just get kicked over, they're going to be like... Is he thinking that it's a malfunction where they just won't be able to help themselves?
Yeah.
Or do you think he's just going to, like, trick them into starting a fight with him?
I think the first one.
Okay. I don't know.
I think he just wanted to. I think he just wanted to beat up some robots.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is clearly not productive. He was just... It turned out to be kind of productive, but it was
he found
just the thing
one
he was doing for his own purposes.
So what
they needed to do is fly back to Navarro, collect all the little Babu Fricks, and fly them in. They can become the new wheels.
Now that you've said that, I'm shocked they didn't do that.
Yeah. That it would have been the perfect payoff. They couldn't help IG-11, but they can come and look for the droid nanovirus.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there like a nanovirus and was it isn't that what Boba Fett gets infected with in like Legacy of the Force in Fate of the Jedi?
When he has cancer, but it's not a robot.
Later on when he
Fate
gets,
of the Jedi.
Yeah, when he can't go on Mandalore anymore. Remember he gets
wasn't that the same plot? Or
no, because he has cancer from the Sarlacc and then he gets that fixed.
Yeah, just whatever reason he ended up going and finding all the ARC troopers that were still living on Mandalore before he teaches Jaina how to beat a Sith Lord for all the Jedi that he'd beaten in the past.
Yeah, there's like another nanobot thing in Fate of the Jedi. I can't remember what though. Remember they like go to a planet with nanobots? I can't really remember what happened. I need to read that shit again at some point.
Yeah. My read through, I read ahead of where we are in NJO, or I guess I read behind because I started before we did. I got through Dark Nest, and then I got like halfway through Betrayal, and then stopped for some reason. So I need to get back to that as well.
Which one's Betrayal?
That's the first. Legacy of the Force book.
Did you get to the Perry Needmo News Hour? Probably. Or no, is that Fate of the Jedi? I think Perry Needmo's in Fate of the Jedi, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's very hard to separate some of the events of the two books.
Yeah, you got to the sick dinner scene though, right?
No, I think I don't think that happens until a bit later because I'm only at the point where like Ben is talking to like the super messed up Anakin droid.
That part was dumb. That was one of the dumber things those two series did. The Anakin droid.
Yeah, that it's imprinted on Anakin, so we can just make a droid to replicate Anakin.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
That's the easiest thing, and I think he's like got a chair as part of him too. I don't know.
It's like some Akira shit. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was just gonna try to get us back on the episode. So
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. That's all I had on that.
Well, I had nothing to get us back on the episode.
What did you think
What do you think of the fight then?
Which one? Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I don't got much more than that. I noticed they got a second Gazanti. Did you see that?
Yeah, they had only the one Arquitens, though.
Yeah.
Which turned into a bit of controversy on my Discord server.
Why? Did they think there was more?
Someone just wasn't convinced that it was the same one and thought it would be unreasonable to assume that it was.
What? Why?
I only got to the conversation after it happened, so I was like, oh, okay, interesting theory.
They've shown this one ship once before. I wonder if this is a different one.
And they did say explicitly they were going to capture it. So,
and they also reference it. Actually, I guess they don't reference that one ship.
Did everyone just not look like kind of unenthused about their situation after Bo-Katan was given the Darksaber? Like, Casca Reeves maybe seemed okay with it, but everyone else's face just looked kind of nonplussed.
Well, they had a pretty good setup. Like, they were just kind of camping.
Yeah. Well, they haven't even been told, okay, now that I'm back, guys, guess where we're going?
Yeah.
If you thought this guy was a zealot.
Yeah, also, keep your fucking helmets on around these other guys. They're really weird.
Look, I might just go back, but...
I kind of wonder whether they got more fleet somewhere. Like, maybe they got some ships in orbit, too. I don't know.
I doubt it. Like, it's a pretty minimalistic show, and I don't think they're going to be fighting anything that's that big either. So...
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. They're like, we're gonna take back Mandalore. It's like, bro, there's nobody there.
There are 2 squadrons of TIE interceptors there.
Were they on Mandalore?
That we know of. Well, they're in the system.
Are they though?
Yeah.
Are they?
Bo-Katan's planet Calavela was in the same system.
You think they just flew there? Or were they dropped off in a dropship somewhere, in a carrier?
Yeah, but that dropship was in the Mandalore system. We at least know at some point there were some Imperials that were there coming to bomb Bo-Katan's house.
Or so you think they're still there, maybe?
I think probably. Like, Moff Gideon is presumably who's behind that, his forces, and he's a big Mando simp. Like, he wants to be a Mandalorian.
That's true.
So
yeah, that's true. They're gonna have to, because that's an element of their character. I agree. They're gonna pull in because this episode or this season's all been about Mandalorians of every shape, size, and whatever. And I think he's going to kind of present as one. So it's like he did have the Darksaber, but like
it probably has a bunch of Beskar because like that's probably how the client got it as well. Because the Imperials just took a bunch when Gideon did his thing.
Right. Do we know whether the Dark Troopers are made of Beskar?
They can't be, because the whole point is like Beskar stops lightsabers, and Luke was not struggling with that at all.
Yeah, but Din was, right? Or no, Din didn't have it. Yeah. Yeah, but I always kind of felt like Luke just cut through the joints. I don't know.
He was kind of indiscriminately chopping and stabbing. Like, I feel like if you're setting up the Dark Troopers to be made of Beskar, the only reason to do that is if you want to set it up as a thing for the Darksaber. So why not show Luke having issues with that?
Yeah, that's true.
It would have come up by now, I feel like, in that.
Yeah,
I know you want to have Luke have his moment of just like blowing everything up, but if you are going to go the direction of making them be Darksaber resistant, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The reason I was asking is like, you mentioned Moff Gideon having, like, are we going to see Moff Gideon in Mandalorian armor now?
I think we are.
Okay.
Like he'll like he has Beskar.
Right.
He wants to be a Mandalorian.
He definitely has a lot because he had that whole fucking what do they call the ice cream maker again? It's like not a canteen, but the thing that the thing that they had the Beskar in, because all the
oh yeah
what's it called again? Like all the Beskar that yeah, all the Beskar that Mando had came from Gideon, right?
Yeah, well, it came from the client, which is presumably through Gideon, right?
Definitely.
Like, almost definitely.
Yeah.
But
so,
just like the Empire has a ton of Beskar.
Yeah.
At the very least, and like Gideon has most access to that. So I think like it's possible there are some other Mandalorians that are working for Gideon. I don't see why they would. But I feel like jumping to the conclusion that it must be Mandalorians working with Gideon when we know he has Beskar, that I don't think Carson Teva is like that would not hold up in court. That is circumstantial evidence with a lot of reason to doubt that.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It could be like he could have some like old Imperial Super Commandos or something. I just worry a bit about like if we do have Imperial Super Commandos, it's going to be like, okay, we've got like fucking 6 different, because that's the like Star Wars Rebels had that problem. I would say the Clone Wars season 7 really had that problem where it was like, okay, we have the original kind of pacifist Mandos, then we have Death Watch, then we have like good Death Watch, like Bo-Katan, then we've got the Maulists. Yeah,
everyone we've seen is like from Rebels on chronologically like is from Death Watch in some way, shape, or form, right? Like Sabine's family is so the Vizslas are, the Children of the Watch are like more of a splinter from Death Watch. They're from Concordia. So it seems like everyone that was in the pacifist Mandos are just gone. Like they all died out.
I forget, did they kill the Prime Minister at the end of season 7? I think they do. I can't remember. Almec was in the jail. I don't know if Maul killed him. I can't remember what happens. I feel like Maul does kill him, but I can't remember.
But everyone who survives from that point, like, they get bombed a lot after that. So, like, is Corky Kryze just is Paz Vizsla's head gonna come off and then he opens his suit and then a skinny little Corky walks out?
That would be sick.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't hate that, but like it
I mean,
seems
Death
like
Watch wins,
anyone that's around
so...
is Death Watch adjacent, which is kind of the thing with like there's a lot of hate that Bo-Katan gets of like she's a former terrorist, she's a part of Death Watch, but like they all were at this point. They weren't necessarily all part of Maul's forces, but probably, especially
oh yeah, Gar Saxon kills him. Sorry,
the Vizslas. But like I think Fen Rao and the Protectors probably would be the biggest candidate to show up. Like it's him and Sabine that are the big Mandalorian characters that we haven't seen in the show yet. So if Sabine is off with Ahsoka actively because they're going to be still looking for Ezra, then maybe she doesn't show up. Like apparently Zeb is the Rebels cameo we're getting in The Mandalorian, which I would never have guessed that.
I'll take it, but I wouldn't have guessed it.
That was fantastic, actually. But
yeah, I remember
like,
we watched that one together. We watched that one together, and I was like, "Hey, that's a Zeb." And you were like, "That is Zeb." I was like, "Shut up, so we can hear." Because we were listening, it was not super loud because we were in the hotel, and it was yeah,
and we were both like mostly asleep at that point.
Yeah, because that was like for me 4:00 local time in the morning.
Yeah, because we got up pretty early. Then we stayed up. We watched like 2 hours of Taskmaster between Disney and the Star Wars coming on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then we watched that was the finale day too, right?
Yeah.
All right. So anything else you want to talk about the episode before I guess we can take any emails and
just a quick yes or no: is Fen Rao showing up, or do we have our Mandalorians collected?
Yeah, I think Fen Rao is going to show up. Because I think these last two episodes could do somewhat of a redeeming of the season. Not that the season's been awful, but it's been disjointed. I think these last two episodes could really help. And like what they need to do is leave things in a good space moving forward. Like I imagine they're going to have to somewhat wrap up this Mandalore arc because more important things are about to start happening, right? Or am I wrong?
Like I think with the 2 episodes left, we've got an episode of like some kind of conflict that gets quickly resolved between the Night Owls and the Children of the Watch. Finale is going to Mandalore, and
I think
like,
they're in Mandalore next episode.
You think they get there like right away?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hope not, but I could definitely see that happening. I want at least one episode about like bringing the Mandalorians together and what that actually requires.
So there's a side quest that brings them together.
Well, they get there, and it's like when you're moving in with someone, it's like, oh, do we use my cutlery or your cutlery?
Yeah.
Like, whose pans stay? And me and Dana still haven't figured out whose utensils we're keeping.
We've got to rescue this young Sarlacc, and we can only do so if the helmeted and the helmetless come together, because there's a really bad glare, but only in certain parts.
No, Ragnar has been eaten by this young Sarlacc. That was babysitting while we went to Navarro for some fucking reason.
Yeah. Okay. Two predictions from you, and I'll give mine afterwards. 1, is anyone going to die? And 2, will we see Grand Admiral Thrawn in the show?
Bo-Katan end credit scene.
You think Bo-Katan's dead?
I think if anyone's dying, it's either the armor or Bo-Katan.
Yeah, I agree that Bo-Katan. I don't think it's looking good for her. I don't know actually, but we'll see. And I think we will see Thrawn. I don't think it's going to be end credits though. I think it's going to be.
I think he's going to play a more active role, or not even necessarily an active role, but like in the actual plot of the show.
No, but I just think we'll get a hologram or a communique or something with him. But I just don't think it's going to be end credits. I think it's going to be like the last scene, maybe.
Yeah, like I just don't see who else could be killed off that we'd actually care about. There's like some no-name Mandos in the background, definitely, but I don't think they're killing Paz Vizsla. I don't think they're killing Din and Grogu. It really depends on what the armor in Harmer's role is supposed to be going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Whether she turns out to actually be intended as like kind of an antagonist, which I kind of hope.
Yeah.
And then it's like, is Bo-Katan able to lead, or does she make some sort of sacrifice? Because we've been down this road so many times of like, can Bo-Katan lead? And the answer has generally been no. Like, is this just going to be, oh, it actually works out this time? Or does she sacrifice her life because now she can put the needs of Mandalorians before her? Is that kind of where they're going with it? But like, the only other ones, like, you kill off Casca or Axe, and maybe Axe's role is done, but I don't know if they're like major enough to count as deaths at this point.
Yeah, that's for me the reason why I don't think Paz Vizsla will die. I just don't
Same.
think enough people care about his character. Like, he's the big Mando. Like, if he dies, they'll be like, all right, I mean, sure. Okay, here's one final one. Do you think we see Grief Karga again this season?
Yeah, because they're getting established on Navarro. He's probably going to be there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, that's true. Good point.
So, if Jon Favreau is Jon Favreau, then there's a very strong argument for Paz Vizsla staying around. They introduce Mara Jade in season 4, and suddenly Paz Vizsla has his helmet off and is dating Mara Jade.
Wait, where did you get? Can you start from like the beginning there? Like,
have you ever seen the MCU?
Oh, you're saying yeah. Like, we're supposed to believe that he can pull fucking Aunt May. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's going to be the exact same situation in the next franchise he writes for.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, that Aunt May one, it ain't happening. No, son, that ain't happening.
Those are all my predictions for season 4.
He's like, I write the script. I take off my helmet, and no one can handle how beautiful I am. It was George's idea.
That's what he wanted.
Don't tell him about Mara. He'll be pissed.
We called her Marna in the writing room, so we wouldn't find out.
Yeah, it's like, you know how for Luke they had his concept art. It was it was like, I'm in love with Plo Koon. You guys will see. I don't know why I'm giving him that voice, but
yeah, I don't know if he sounds like that.
He's not that fat, like.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's the only predictions I want to make for the end of the show. Any other final thoughts on the episode as we go into the?
I'm just thinking, so far this season hasn't had any of those big social media meltdown moments, really. Like, we've had a character showing up? Like we've had Jar Jar show up, Jedi Jar Jar.
I think that one was probably one of the biggest ones in the show's history.
No,
like, the reaction when Ahmed Best showed up. Yeah, I think that was bigger than Ahsoka, not as big as Luke.
No way! Come on. Really?
I think it was bigger than Ahsoka. I think like the emotional impact of that was definitely bigger than Ahsoka. Maybe it wasn't like the big water cooler moment in the same way, but okay, looking at me like that isn't an argument. It just makes me feel small.
For me, I think like if I were to rank them, I would say Luke is obviously number 1. Who's number 2? I would probably put Ahsoka number 2. Cad Bane is number 3. Or no, Boba Fett is number 2. Ahsoka number 3. Cad Bane 4. Bo-Katan 5. Then I put Ahmed Best, I think.
You put Ahmed Best below Bo-Katan and Boba?
Definitely Boba. Boba's huge. What do you mean?
He's huge, but I don't think it was like a surprise to anyone. Like, I feel like those big moments have to kind of be a surprise for them to have that impact.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, that's fine. You're allowed to be wrong.
I think it's just what people like. It's like, for me, when I talk about these moments, it's like, we need the show ratings boost. What do we fucking do? Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, if you're looking from that perspective, then sure.
Okay.
Then I would put Ahmed Best at the lowest one.
So my argument is, there's got to be one more of those. There's got to be one this season, right? Because like,
actually, I feel like I'm still gonna put it above Bo-Katan.
Okay, I'd agree with that. I just don't think casual Star Wars fans, like, a lot of them don't know who that is, right? Like when we were at the Disney, I talked to all the YouTubers, and like there were a few YouTubers do Star Wars full time. Didn't know who it was. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I'm trying. I guess the big moment of that, for like season 1, I guess didn't have any huge moments like that. Obviously, the Grogu thing, kind of the dark saber at the end. But yeah, I'm just thinking season 3's got to have one probably.
I mean, there was one almost every episode in season 2. Like season 2 was just that, because you had Cobb Vanth, then you had Frog Lady, then you had Bo-Katan, then you had Boba and Fennec together, and Luke at the end. So there was maybe 2 episodes without one.
Oh, okay. One last question. One last prediction. I don't know if we have time for emails. One last prediction. Do they stop and pick up our boy Boba on the way to Mandalore? He's got a ship.
Tamura Morrison has a contract.
Tamura Morrison's got a contract. What do you think? It makes sense, doesn't it? We haven't been to Tatooine yet. Or no, we have been to Tatooine.
They immediately went to Tatooine, and I spoiled it right away.
Instantly there.
Didn't even say hi.
Yeah.
The only mention of Boba was Pelly asking if Din was there to kill him.
Pelly's like, "Are you going to stop by see Boba?" It's like, "No, I'm busy." It's like, "He's just up there. No, you can see him on the way out."
She said, "Are you here to kill Boba?" Like, she mentioned him.
Yeah.
And we
I
still
thought she
didn't
said help Boba. Okay, anyway.
No.
Okay.
Are you here to take out Boba? It was like that.
Okay.
Not on a date. They're not dating yet.
Did you see the end of Book of Boba Fett? Did you see that little leg raise that Boba did? You know those Barbie things everyone's been making? The
promotional thing.
That reminded me. I got to do one with Boba Fett doing that leg raise with the knee rockets.
I'd watch the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm at a 51% on Boba showing up.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like it makes a lot of sense. I just don't think they're gonna do it. So I would have expected it, but no, I don't know. I hope he does.
Well, presumably Boba's busy, and
is he though?
What does he give a shit about Mandalore for? Unless it's like, oh well, you helped me with my city.
I think they're just boys. Like, aren't they just boys now?
They're busy boys. It's been a few years.
I guess.
If he didn't stop by and say hey when he's looking for
if you lived in Dartmouth and you're like, hey, like I'm about to have a scrap downtown, like I'd probably drive down and help you.
Yeah, but this is more like if I'm heading out to BC and it's like, oh, we're gonna go fight Space Dog or something.
Sign me up, baby. Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Like, we already saw what happens if later on in the season I might be going to fight someone in BC, but earlier we already saw that I had to go like change a tire in Halifax and didn't even say hi.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe something bad happened.
Yeah, lovers to enemies. I hate to see it.
Well, yeah, I don't think we have any time for questions, unfortunately, right now, because we do have to go play some Fortnite.
I think we're doing Imperial Card, aren't we?
We're doing probably both of them, but that's going to be on youtube.com/ECKSTOO, as well as twitch.tv/Corey Loses. Next week, presumably talking about...
Got my Cal Kestis lights there. It's so heavy.
Yeah.
I almost dropped it.
We all got Cal Kestis lightsabers, Justin. But next week we were saying we were going to talk about about Dark Journey. There's also a Mandalorian episode. I feel like the look you're giving me right now is we are not talking about that. We're doing
it's not going to happen until Mando's over. We're going to keep we're riding it till she's...
All right. So next week we'll be talking about the Mandalorian episode 7. What were you about to say? I don't know where.
No, I'm good.
Week after that we got Mando Ep 8. I'm going to be at my sister's place for next week's episode anyway, so it's easier for me if I don't have anything I have to do before it. So that's fine.
Oh, nice. Good to see you. You get to see your sis.
Yep. Get to see my sister, my nephews. Tell them about the Disney trip they didn't get to go on.
Are you gonna buy them something and pretend that you got? So when we were in Disney, I've got, as some of you know, I've got a couple of kids, and Corey's got nephews. So we were like, shopping for things, and like for me, I'm gonna go home and my kids will be right there, so I can't, I had to get something, but I'm just like, Corey, just buy something on Amazon. They won't know the difference until they watch this.
Absolutely never happening.
Yeah. Oh, I just smacked my dog. I'm sorry, buddy.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for the episode. I think. Any final thoughts you want to leave the folks with?
Nope. Just next episode, next time we record, we're going to spend a little extra time to do answer any questions. And also, I'm going to take a second and do podcast reviews. So if you enjoy what we're doing here, make sure you go to iTunes, honestly, wherever. iTunes, Spotify, Google, MSN Messenger, wherever. Rate our podcast 5 stars. I will be reading some ratings next time. Additionally, I am also going to be streaming these, as there's a bunch of you watching now, so I'm going to try to make that a more regular thing, especially when we're talking Mando and whatever else. So if you like looking at our faces, are you going to use the new podcast feature too, Corey? It seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it because I have no idea what it does. It just looks like a
different playlist
to me so far.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, see you guys next time, and make sure you leave those reviews. Try to make us laugh. If you make us laugh, yeah. Oh, Massaman Curry's coming back soon. Little detail.
All right. Well, remember, buy your Massaman Curry from Vite Ramen, and maybe they'll keep giving Justin money. Until then, keep your stick on the ice.
Keep your stick on the ice, yeah. Stream on X2, ECKSTOO, and Corey loses. Grab a beer and meet us there. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I haven't ended mine yet. I accidentally clicked away from the dashboard.
It's not awkward. It's not awkward.
I'm clicking as fast as I can. This is almost as bad as when I was playing my own sound. Okay.